Word on the street is something massive might be brewing in the Steel City. And when we say massive, we mean earth-shattering, league-defining, franchise-altering massive. The kind of move that would send ripples not only through the AFC North but across the entire NFL landscape. Rumors are swirling, insiders are whispering, and Steelers Nation is buzzing louder than ever before. TYREEK Hill, yes, that TYREEK Hill, could be on his way to Pittsburgh. Now I know what you're thinking. TYREEK in black and gold, it sounds like a fever dream, a Madden fantasy. But let's break it down, because this isn't just some random social media clickbait. We're talking about credible hints, subtle tweets, and behind-the-scenes maneuvering that all point to one thing: the Pittsburgh Steelers might be on the verge of making the biggest signing in their storied history. We're not talking about a decent free agent here. We're talking about a generational talent, a Super Bowl champion, a cheetah in shoulder pads. And if this turns out to be true, this could reshape everything we thought we knew about the 2025 season. Let's dig into the whispers, the signs, and the possible dominoes that led us here. First things first, let's talk timing. The Steelers, a team historically known for building through the draft and maintaining fiscal responsibility, are suddenly being mentioned in the same breath as the league's flashiest, most electrifying wide receiver. That alone is worth raising eyebrows. Pittsburgh has never been a franchise to chase headlines. They've always been about legacy, consistency, and grit. But maybe, just maybe, the front office is realizing that the NFL has evolved. You don't just win titles with defense anymore. You win with star power, with playmakers who can flip the field in the blink of an eye, and no one, absolutely no one, flips the field like TYREEK Hill. At 31, he's still one of the fastest men alive, a nightmare for defensive coordinators, and the kind of threat who changes how you prepare for a game. So when you see whispers from NFL insiders suggesting there's been unusual activity around the Steelers front office and cryptic tweets from Hill himself, yes, something's up. You don't get smoke like this without some fire behind it. And if the timing's right, Hill might be looking for a fresh start and a new legacy. Let's not forget, TYREEK Hill has flirted with change before. Even when he was putting up monster numbers with the Dolphins, there were rumors, small ones mind you, that he wasn't entirely happy with how things were unfolding behind closed doors. Maybe it's the system, maybe it's the quarterback situation, maybe it's just the itch to try something new. Whatever it is, Hill has never been shy about expressing himself, especially on social media. He's like Steelers posts before. He's commented on plays from George Pickens. He even once joked about playing in cold weather stadiums just to prove I can do it. Coincidence? Maybe. But in this league, especially with stars of Hill's caliber, nothing is ever just random. Players drop hints. They move in silence before they explode onto the scene. And let's be honest, the Steelers could be the perfect landing spot. Solid quarterback foundation, a defense that gives him room to breathe, and an offense desperate for a true WR1 to complement their rising stars. If Hill wants to prove he can be the guy anywhere, not just in Kansas City or Miami, Pittsburgh could be the stage for his third act. Now here's where things get spicy. Money, contracts, cap space. This is the part where a lot of people say, no way, Pittsburgh can't afford a guy like TYREEK Hill. But let's slow down. The Steelers have been making some interesting moves lately, shedding contracts, quietly restructuring deals, creating what insiders are calling unusual flexibility in their cap space. Add to that the fact that Hill might be willing to restructure his own deal to chase another ring, and suddenly the math isn't so impossible. Remember, Hill's already secured his bag. He's made his money. But legacy, another Lombardi, that's what separates great players from legends. And if he thinks the Steelers are that missing piece, a gritty playoff-ready team that just needs that one offensive spark, don't be surprised if he takes a slight pay cut to make it happen. Pittsburgh isn't known for splashy free agency moves, but desperate times call for historic moves. And bringing in a player like Hill isn't just historic, it's iconic. This would be the kind of signing that shakes fans, rattles rivals, and tells the NFL world the Steelers are done playing it safe. Let's also talk locker room culture. One of the biggest arguments against bringing in a superstar is always, will he fit in? But TYREEK Hill, despite all his flash and swagger, has always been a team guy when it mattered. Say what you want about his past, but on the field and in the locker room, coaches have called him a competitor, a leader by example, and a tone setter. Now imagine that energy in Pittsburgh, a franchise built on accountability, unity, and toughness. Coach Mike Tomlin is one of the most respected figures in the league, especially among players. If anyone can harness TYREEK's explosiveness and fold it into a winning culture, it's Tomlin. Plus, Hill has experience in big-game situations. He's seen every defense imaginable. His knowledge alone would be invaluable for young guys like George Pickens and Calvin Austin III. It's not just about what he brings on the field. It's about mentoring leadership and that championship DNA. Hill knows how to win, and when. A franchise like the Steelers, with 6 Super Bowls to their name, wants to return to glory, adding a proven winner like Hill becomes more than just a luxury. It becomes a statement of intent. What's interesting is the radio silence from both camps. The Steelers haven't denied the rumors. Hill hasn't exactly squashed them either. In today's hyper-connected world, that silence speaks volumes. Usually when rumors are wild or off-base, they're killed instantly. You'll see statements, tweets, denials, but in this case nothing. Nada, just whispers. And that's exactly how major moves happen in the NFL. Quietly, strategically, behind the scenes. Then, boom, the bombshell drops. That's how Tom Brady ended up in Tampa. That's how Adree Hopkins was moved out of nowhere. It's how the best GMs work. And Omar Khan, the Steelers GM, is no fool. He knows this team needs a jolt. He's seen the Bengals rise. He's watched the Ravens reload. He knows the Browns are always a wild card. Pittsburgh needs a shot in the arm, something big, something bold. And TYREEK Hill might just be that lightning bolt. When two sides stay quiet this long, it's not because nothing's happening. It's because everything is happening. They're just not ready to show their hand yet. Let's not forget the fan factor. Steelers Nation is massive, loyal, passionate, global, and they've been hungry, starving even, for a new offensive superstar to rally behind. The days of Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell feel like distant memories. Sure, Najee Harris is solid. George Pickens is promising. But they haven't had a true game changer, a primetime threat since Ab's peak. TYREEK Hill would bring that end. Then some. You'd instantly have one of the league's most dangerous offenses. Imagine Pickett dropping back and unleashing a bomb to Hill, streaking past defenders. Imagine the crowd at Acrisure Stadium erupting as Hill backflips into the end zone. The jersey sales would go nuclear. The hype videos instant classics. ESPN and NFL Network would be camped outside the stadium all off-season. This move would electrify not just the roster, but the entire city of Pittsburgh. It would remind everyone that the Steelers aren't just a legacy franchise. They're still relevant, still dangerous, still willing to go for it. In a league dominated by flashy moves and superstar power, this would be Pittsburgh's way of saying, we're not just here to play, we're here to win. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Steelers Nation Central and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. And let's explore TYREEK's mindset for a second. He's not just some player cashing in. He's legacy-focused. He's ring-hungry. He's publicly stated he's only playing a few more years, so the clock is ticking. Why not go somewhere where the fan base is ravenous, the culture is real, and the path to a ring is legitimate? The AFC North is brutal. But Hill has never backed down from a challenge. In fact, he thrives on it. You think he wouldn't love to torch the Bengals or Ravens twice a year? Of course he would. He's a showman. He wants big stages, high stakes, and hostile environments. And there's no place more intense, more passionate, or more authentic than Pittsburgh in December. That's football weather. That's where legends are made. And if Hill wants to write the final chapter of his career with fire, he could do it in black and gold. Think about the headlines. Think about the playoff matchups. This isn't just about football. It's about storylines, and few stories are Jewisher than a superstar. W are choosing a gritty blue-collar team for one last epic run. And while this might feel like fantasy, let's not ignore what the league insiders are saying. Multiple verified accounts have started connecting the dots. There's been talk of unexpected movement in the WR trade market. Vague quotes about a top AFC team looking to make a splash. Players like Deontay Johnson suddenly being shopped around. It all fits. The Steelers could be clearing space. They could be shifting personnel to make room for one player, and if that player is Hill, it makes all the sense in the world. Nobody else on the market commands that kind of attention. Nobody else would justify such internal maneuvering.